I initially became licensed to foster parent because I wanted to provide respite for my aunt and uncle who had been licensed for over 25 years at that point. I was supposed to be providing respite for them. Once I was finally licensed, I never took any of their kids. I became a full-time foster parent and took in 2 kids. I want to say my initial license, I took in 2 kids at a time. It was actually about 6 months into having my license. I took a sibling set of 5 years old. They weren't twins, they were siblings. One was a boy, one was a girl, and they were almost exactly 9 months apart. And it was very interesting to have 2 kids the same age, kind of going through the same things. One of the good things about having them both is they were able to help each other cope. They had been through some trauma, and having them there together, they were able to help each other get through the nights and days and be very supportive. With that placement, I had that placement initially for 30 days, and when they left my home, they were actually split up. And it's been close to a decade now, and one sibling ended up being adopted, and the other one is still in care. So it just coming back full circle years later, it just makes me think about if I was ready at that point in time to keep siblings, would they have remained together? I have a sibling set of brothers, and initially I don't really take boys. I take girls. I've taken girls for several years, and one day I decided I wanted to explore and take a baby boy. And it didn't have to be a super infant, but I wanted a little boy under 1, and I got this little boy that was under 1 that I just fell in love with, and it made me rethink always keeping teenagers. And he was initially my first infant placement in about 8 years of foster parenting. And we're probably close to almost a year of him being in my home. And I get this call from the social worker, and the social worker says, "Hey, his mom had another baby. Would you be willing to take the baby?" And in my mind, and I said it verbally over the phone, no, what am I going to do with another baby? It'll be like having twins. Because at that point, they're only 18 months apart, and I had given away everything that was infant for my son. So it was just thinking about starting all over again was very overwhelming. Probably about 3 days went by, and he was still at the hospital, and they were still waiting on me to change my mind. I agreed to go to the hospital and at least see him. I went to the hospital to see him, and I left with him, and a whole year later, I've been able to witness the joys of having 2 siblings grow up together so close in age. And they have the normal love-hate for each other. My son definitely thinks, initially, when is this baby gonna leave? But as the months go by and they have each other, he really does love his brother. And I would say one of the joys of me being able to provide an opportunity for siblings to be raised together now is just taking that experience from having the 5-year-old siblings almost a decade ago and know what happened to them and how they were split up and, are being raised very separately and don't get the opportunity to see and talk to each other on a regular basis. Having 2 siblings in the same home, being raised together, having the same family to share, some of the benefits to taking in siblings is, whatever biological family history that there is, you know the history, so you kind of have an awareness of some things that can pop up with mental health and behavior, and just medical, huge benefits to to taking in a set, and just the relationship that they're able to build and have some normalcy in foster care can make a huge difference in the placement. I've had people ask me, like, how do I do it with multiple children, and constantly telling me, bless my heart for the work that I've done and continue to do with foster youth. And I really can't think of a day in which I didn't have 4 children. I don't know what my life would be like without having 4 kids. And to anyone who's considering a foster placement and you have the opportunity to take in 2 kids or 3 kids and not split up a sibling set, try it out. No parent is perfect. I'm not perfect, but you kind of learn as you go. You learn as you go, and the love that you're able to give a set of siblings is what they need in their time of trauma.